So I realized this probably should have been my first video. Some of you probably don't know who I am. Well, most of you, I'm guessing, actually. Anyways, my name is Jacob, and that's my FD. It's a 93. It's a touring model. It's got 37,000 and a half miles, and it's like my 7th RX-7. So I started my RX-7 journey when I was 15 really. I bought my first FC when I was 15 and a half before I got my license. It was 5-speed. I'd never driven stick before, so I learned how to drive stick shift on that car. It got totaled. Some lady pulled a U-turn in front of me. I bought another one, and then I bought another one. And then eventually I got my first FD, which was the same as this one. It was a 93 Montego Blue on tan, but it had like 240,000 miles. And my first FD, I was going to UTI at the time, and I really needed a reliable car, and it wouldn't pass smog. And I think it turned out it was on one rotor. The guy that I sold it to flew out from Illinois, tried to drive it back, and blew it up. He was gonna LS swap it, so he didn't really care, except that he had to tow it halfway across the country. And then I didn't have an RX-7 for about 10 years until I got this one. Bought this car from Fritz Flynn out in Virginia. It had just under 32,000 miles when I bought it. Turned out that engine had kind of low compression. It was like low 80s, high 70s PSI. So I got a new engine from Mazda through Ray Crow, and yeah, I got about 5,000 miles on it so far. It's been running great, except for a little hesitation issue that I had. When I got this car, it had no smog equipment, and being in California, I wanted it to be smog legal. So I pieced back together all the smog stuff with the help from some local rotary guys. But I was always missing one part that I didn't know about, which was that check valve. That's my little buddy. He comes to visit me in the garage. He brought me some cake. So as you may have seen on my social media, I've been kind of slowly fixing things. Car's obviously a mess right now because I got a couple different projects going on. But you know, last year I went through and did the whole suspension, got the Tane Flex Z's, Super Pro bushings, improved racing sway bar end links in the front. Yeah, and also in the back, and I did the diff bushings and diff side seals and stuff. I actually had a diff side seal that was leaking, so went ahead and redid those. You know, just trying to make it nice. My first FD I had when I was 18, and I didn't really know what I was doing with it. I was in way over my head. You know, I had like 3 FCs, and I had a first gen. I had a GS LSE before that, but the FD is obviously a whole different ball game. So anyways, I kind of felt like this car was my chance to redeem myself for kind of bastardizing the first one. I did an auto to manual swap, and there was definitely some shoddy wiring done. I'm not proud of it, but it ran until it didn't. But yeah, I sold it, bought a Corvette, and then didn't have an FD or any RX-7 for about 10 years. Yeah, just trying to do this one right. My plan was to keep it as long as I can forever, hopefully. You know, obviously I know life changes, and it's possible that that I don't get to do that, but I'll do my best. It's kind of hard because they're so valuable now. It's like you got a pot of gold sitting in your garage that you hardly get to drive because you're either working on it or you got a kid and it only got 2 seats, and but you know, there's nothing really like it. So wanted to show some things that I did to the car that kind of just little subtle touches. I built these HID projectors myself using Morimoto stuff. Actually was able to tuck everything in underneath the headlight covers, which is nice, keeps it pretty tidy, and it's not easy to fit all this stuff in there. As you can see, it's pretty smushed, but it works good, and you can actually see at night, which is nice. Another little project I just finished was on the wheels. I made these custom Ifini center caps. This is real carbon fiber. I had my friend 3D print these Ifini logos, and then they're epoxied and wet sanded, polished, and it's just a nice little touch, I thought. Better than Enkei center caps. These are Enkei wheels. Some of my build is on limited budget. Wheels is one of them, and coilovers is the other. You know, these chains are inexpensive, but I'm actually pretty impressed. They're pretty stock feeling, and they're a little bit stiffer, plus you can adjust the ride height. I don't love having a lowered car because it presents challenges with driveways and stuff like that, but at least I can adjust the height. I'm probably gonna raise it up a little bit. When I went through the suspension, I painted all the control arms this nice gold color. My friend Daniel, he really likes it. He tells me all the time how much he loves my gold control arms. On the interior of the car, I have Garage Alpha floor mats with the RX-7 shields and their cup holder. I repainted all the interior plastics. They obviously have that sticky coating from 1993, so redid those. I made the shift knob, it's Montego blue as well. Speed hut gauges, got a Sparco L360 steering wheel. You can see the A pillar is carbon fiber. I carbon fiber overlaid the stock pillars. So just a couple little things that make it unique. I swapped the door panels out to black because the tan ones were they always get filthy, and I think with the way the dash wraps into the door panels, it's more cohesive with black. The tan always looked funny to me, and actually they got rid of the tan door panels in '94, so more of a '94 look. Almost forgot, I have the Apexi Power FC, which is Ryan H's favorite ECU from what I've heard. He always says how it's the best on the market. A couple things at the back. Added a Mazda Speed spoiler. I made these carbon fiber end caps for it. Replaced the RX-7 badge with the Ifini one, and the Ifini badges front and rear. I also have the Shine Auto street diffuser, which is also carbon, and Racing Beat single tip muffler. Well, my car was perfectly running, and then decided to take it all apart. So here it is. Doing a couple things. Had to replace, well, not replace, it was missing. I had the check valve missing on the air control valve here. It's been causing a hesitation issue since I owned the car. Didn't have any smog equipment when I bought it, so I didn't know it was missing, but I figured it out finally. So I'm gonna be relocating my solenoid rack. Made this carbon fiber box for it. I'm gonna mount it to the side of my intake box, so it'll sit more in this area here. And I gotta obviously get the vacuum lines run from here. I'm gonna go through the box and then out the side of the box and into the solenoid rack. And for those of you that don't know, the solenoid rack is for controlling the turbos. There's two solenoids that control the turbo actuator. One's controlled by pressure, the other by vacuum. And then I have a solenoid that controls the charge relief valve, which is this one here, and the charge control valve, which is down here underneath. Kind of hard to see. You can see a little. You can see the actuator part right there. Basically, just it controls the secondary turbo actuation sequential system. The stock solenoids are kind of known for sticking, so these are upgraded Fabco solenoids. All your solenoids in the car are pretty much three-way. You have an input, an output, and then you have a vent. And so normally when they're not powered, the output is vented out here. When the solenoid's on, the input goes straight through the solenoid to the output. There's your quick little solenoid lesson. I have a write-up for this on my website. You can check it out, rx7bra.com. There's a how-to section, so there's more information on the solenoid rack if you want that. The other thing I found when I took the air control valve off is that inside there's also a valve, and you can see there's a gap. It doesn't seal because exhaust gas was getting pushed back through it and it burned up the rubber part. So getting a new one of these from Chris at Sake Bomb Garage. Well, not new, but used. Another thing that I'm working on is, as you've probably seen on my Instagram, is I got this Sake Bomb dual oil cooler kit. My car only has one stock oil cooler because it's a touring model. So you can see there's one in there. So these are the two 25-row set rab oil coolers. The lines, the Mocal thermostat, oil pedestal adapter. Seems like a pretty good kit. Some people said they had trouble fitting it. And you know, I can see why, because the oil cooler is much bigger than the stock one. Definitely gonna have to do some trimming, probably down here around the bottom, you know, the edge of the bumper and lip. And then also I have these 99 spec brake ducts that go up in here, and so I may end up dropping the oil cooler a little bit lower, so that some of the air from the brake duct vent ends up hitting the cooler. I don't want to get it too low though and risk causing damage to it. As it is, it's already dropped, like I dropped it down about a 1/4 inch from what the brackets would have kept it at. So yeah, we'll see about that, and I'll keep you guys posted. Appreciate you guys being here, watching the video. Please like and subscribe, send me a comment if you like. Take care, have a good one.